All right, guys, how's it going? So I have been to the cafe this morning and I have reviewed today's Spanish football dailies for you. That's right. We've got a few things to talk about. Before I get into the video, I want to tell you two things. One, I'll be live on here today at 1 o'clock this afternoon UK time if you want to come along for a natter. I'm not sure if I'm doing one tonight yet. We'll see. And the second thing I was going to tell you was I'm not too great. I've got a bit of a chesty going on. So I'm sorry if I do that during the video. It might annoy you, but I can't help it. All right. So... right, what we're going to be talking about in this video, Valencia, their transfers are being investigated to do with tax fraud, money laundering. Could it affect Mamardashvili and Liverpool, for example? We're going to be talking about Salah and Trent Alexander-Arnold. There's an article in AS today about them. Salah and Trent face setbacks. We're going to be talking about Darwin Nunez, who gets a mention in sport today. We're also going to be talking about Kubo and Zubimendi at Real Sociedad. They're in action this evening against our friends Manchester United. I did update Met United TV yesterday, a couple of videos on there. If you want to go and check my channel out, youtube.com/@Met, MEH, United TV. There's probably a link that pops up at the end of this video that take you over there as well. So, I went to the cafe this morning, and as many of you know, the owner of the cafe is an Atletico Madrid fan. And the atmosphere in the cafe this morning, as soon as I walked in, it was on the TVs, like on the breakfast television equivalent, if you like, early morning TV in Spain, showing that penalty last night. If you don't know, Atletico Madrid and Real Madrid faced off in the Madrid derby in the Champions League. It went to a penalty shootout, and VAR ruled out a penalty that was converted by Atletico Madrid because the player slipped. And they say that the player touched the ball with both of his feet, which you're not allowed to do. It can only be one kick or one touch. So disallowed the goal. Go and have a look if you haven't seen it. I'm sure you'll find the clip on YouTube or social media. I've watched it a zillion times. It's so unfair because even if he did touch it, the rule's ridiculous, he's not like passing it to himself and then going off and, running around the keeper. He literally fell on his ass and still managed to convert it, So that was the mood in there today. And when I walked in, there was a Spanish workman sat down and another workman walked in like with me at the same time. I held the door open for him. And the one sat down was like, hey, obviously he was a Madrid fan taking the piss out of his mates. So that's what it was like in the cafe this morning. I had a good conversation with the owner, and he was just like, if that had been Real Madrid, it would have stood kind of thing. That's how they feel out here. I felt really, really gutted for him and for Atletico Madrid last night. I know that's nothing really to do with our content here, where we're going to be talking about Liverpool related things. But I just thought I'd mention it to you because obviously some of you pay interest to the conversations I have in the cafe in the morning. So if you're here for any news, Trent is going to get a mention, but there's nothing to do with Trent Alexander-Arnold and Real Madrid. In this video, that's the medicine that I've just taken. Salah does get a mention, but again, it's not to do specifically with a transfer claim or anything. So we're going to start with Zubimendi. Zubimendi returns as Real Sociedad face United. This was in Marca. Zubimendi is the signing for today. They open with him on this article. As the Real Sociedad midfielder should return to the Real Sociedad. I think that's not very good English on my part, is it? Basically, the midfielder should return to the Real Sociedad starting lineup this evening to face Manchester United at Old Trafford. His presence against United this time will be like a new signing and all that, right? Where have we heard that before? Anyway, he missed the first leg due to fever at the last minute. It was the same week where he'd been sent. I think that game fell 3 days after he'd been sent for a scan. But they said, he'd face a late fitness test, maybe even just before kickoff. And just before kickoff, it was like, no, he's not playing, he's got fever. So he didn't play in that first leg game. He missed that. Then he played half an hour last Sunday against Sevilla, meaning he should slot back into things this evening. Hence Zubimendi is the signing for today. It gives many Liverpool fans an opportunity to see him facing an English Premier League club. I'm looking forward to that. I was looking forward to that in the first leg, but it didn't happen, obviously. But be warned, he's not been playing well ever since his proposed move to Anfield fell through. A transfer he wanted, but with the blessing of Real Sociedad and the club, the club he's been with since he was 12, but it didn't come. And from my notes here, I'm going to read some stuff that I typed up for you while I was in the cafe. So obviously, we've got this, the Martin Zubimendi situation. A lot of Liverpool fans very proud, very defensive of the club. We're fuming when he turned us down, if you like. They saw it as a rejection, and certain, outlets, clickbaiters, whatever, wanted, made these headlines that make you angry, like Zubimendi found it easy to reject Liverpool and stuff like that, which if you're a Liverpool fan, you might be like, fuck off you, whatever. But what it meant, the truth is, what he said was he found it easy to stay with the club that he's been with since he was a young lad, right? But how the media twisting. I apologise for the dogs that are always yapping around here. They live outside. But I've opened all the windows right along today, okay, to let some air in. So it might be a little bit noisy. So some Liverpool fans will, we don't want him, that's it, he's had his chance, blah, blah, blah. But I just want to explain to you how you should cut him a little bit of slack, right? Many people think he's going to Arsenal anyway now. But until his future's resolved, I'm going to be talking about him. And it's probably got his name in the title of the video, so please don't moan at me if you don't want to know anything about him. So he was born in San Sebastian, a city in the Basque Country region of northern Spain, which is the exact same place where Real Sociedad, his club, is based, right? So he's a local lad through and through. And the Basque Country isn't just another region. It's a place with its own language, culture, and a fierce sense of pride. For players born there, suiting up for a local club like Real Sociedad or Athletic Bilbao, the two big Basque teams, is a huge deal. These clubs have a tradition of fielding Basque players or those raised in their academies. It's not just about football, it's about representing their people and heritage. Athletic Club's philosophy is the most famous. They only field players with Basque connection, an unwritten rule that's deeply entrenched in the tradition and culture of the club. They even created a one-club man award to honour players worldwide who showed loyalty to a single club, a reflection of how much they valued this trait. With regards Real Sociedad, for nearly 30 years after the club's formation, they only recruited Basque players to the team. This changed with the signing of Liverpool's John Aldridge in 1989. But it wasn't until 2002 that the club signed a Spanish player from outside of the Basque country. Real Sociedad, while now more flexible, similarly takes great pride in developing local youth. Now, the Real Sociedad president, Joaquin Aparibai, I think his name's pronounced. You know what I'm like with the names. You remember he cropped up a bit last summer. Has said that selling a homegrown player like Zubimendi is the hardest part of his job. Like a mother bird seeing her young leave the nest. It's a big, big deal, right? So why is it? Why is there such a bond? Well, the Basque Country has a unique history and identity separate from the rest of Spain. Football becomes a way to showcase that pride. Imagine, like a Scouser staying loyal to Liverpool because it's home, Scouse, not English. It's amplified by a distinct cultural legacy. Players like Zubimendi grow up dreaming of playing for these clubs, and wearing the shirt feels like carrying the community's flag, right? So last summer, he turned down a move to Liverpool, as you know, because Real Sociedad didn't give him their blessing to leave. And that's loyalty rooted in Basque values. Leaving without the club's approval would have felt like betraying his roots, not just the team, but the whole Basque identity, right? It's different from other regions because this cultural tie is so strong. It's less about personal gain and more about honouring where he's from. So I get it, and we've gone over this a million times before. Liverpool fans, angry with him, no doubt about it. But this wasn't about rejecting Liverpool. It was about Zubimendi staying true to his club and his people, all right? Think of it like a Liverpool Academy kid refusing to leave unless the club said it was okay out of love for the badge. Would you like that? I know I would like that, His loyalty shows character, Brendan Rodgers' character, by the way. And that's something to admire, not resent, I feel. It wasn't personal, to us at all. Although I know some people just don't understand it. It's just Basque pride. And honestly, I think it's pretty cool to see that kind of devotion in football today. I'd like to see the same from Trent Alexander-Arnold, wouldn't you? When you think about it, really. So it's just not the same as like, a player, people say, oh, he's unambitious and all that. He wants to live in the fucking mountains. Because the media spin all this shit to you. It's not like rejecting a club in a normal situation. It's a big, big deal. Now, I'll be watching the game tonight to see how he does, all right? But I'll do so knowing he's not 100%. And with my, long-running suspicion, I think he's carrying a knock that the public don't know about. I've mentioned this for a few months. And I also know that, there's been articles in the media that that he's been struggling with fatigue. He's played more outfield minutes than anyone else in his squad, as Rafa Benitez would say, squad. So the Martin Zubimendi thing, I'm as proud as you when it comes to, if a player don't want to play for Liverpool, right? I get it. I totally get it. But when you look at it, the lad wrestled with, I want to play for Liverpool. I want to play for Liverpool, but I need your blessing to leave. And he wouldn't do it. He wouldn't do it. And how many players you wish were like that when it came to Liverpool, right? Seriously. So just cut him a bit of slack, Where he goes now is irrelevant. I'm not really bothered where he goes, Could he come to Liverpool? Who knows? I have no idea. I'm not a Twitter twat. I don't know. Why not? The press, the British press, the Mail ran the exclusive saying he's going to Arsenal. That was denied in Spain. Real Madrid are keeping an eye on him, but they're not really after that profile of a player at the moment. If they were, I think they would go for him, and he goes there, right? So I think we're going to see the same thing in the summer, and if they give him his blessing, a big deal. I mean, with them qualifying for, last summer, they had big exits at that club, right? Last summer, if you remember. And with them qualifying for Europe and that European competition, it was kind of like he felt, this is the stuff that I've picked up here in Spain. He was like, this is even more serious if I walk out on the club now. They've gone, we've just done this. They want me, I'm a big, he didn't want to do it. He felt like he was really leaving his club in the shit. And I admire that. I don't give a fuck what he does in his career next. I admire that. And that's why I pay attention to Martin Zubimendi and what happens with him next. Another one to watch tonight, of course, is Kubo, right? He too isn't 100% match fit. Liverpool considered him last year too, if you remember. But that died, and the link has never returned, not that I've seen anyway. But it might, because from my understanding here in Spain, Kubo will force a move this summer. That's the vibe over here. That doesn't mean Liverpool will show any interest in him, but it might, see Liverpool used in reporting to try and secure a deal to the Premier League or somewhere else. Atletico Madrid are actually being linked with him, so you might want to keep an eye on that. Now, while we're on Atletico Madrid, I wouldn't be surprised to see Darwin Nunez linked with them as the summer approaches. You may have seen some links already about that, but they weren't credible, guys. It was just the obvious stuff to do with, they're going to be looking for someone, life after Griezmann, 2 and 2 together and all that. So I don't believe any of the reporting I've seen so far, but it wouldn't surprise me if something credible came up along that line in the coming months. And while Nunez may have flopped at Anfield, I think he's going to be a massive hit somewhere, guys, where he's, the main man, consistent starts and runs in a side I think are critical. For a striker, for a hitman, for a forward, if you like. And he's also a player that clearly needs to feel loved. And, he needs to be a key player. And at Anfield, he isn't. And I think if he gets this move in the summer somewhere where he's the main man, where the trust and, he's putting him, I think we'll look at him and go, fucking hell, why could you do that for us? Honestly, I really do think that's going to happen. So it'd be an interesting summer with regards to that. Now, staying with Darwin Nunez, this article here was published in Sport today, which is the pro-Catalan newspaper, the pro-Barcelona Football Club newspaper, if you like. A little bit random, you might think, there's no suggestion. They're certainly not going to be going for him after you've read this article. I'm not going to read it to you. But the little snippets from this article right here. The Reds' target man was the main scapegoat in Liverpool's Champions League exit against PSG, enduring his worst season since signing in 2022. Benfica offloaded him to Liverpool in 2022 for a staggering €85 million, a signing expected to be a game changer at Anfield, but one that has ultimately flopped. Thrown into the PSG game in the second half, Darwin failed to make an impact on the team or the flow of the match, a recurring theme since his arrival in England. He hasn't cemented his place, hasn't rediscovered his best form, and isn't stepping up in crucial moments, showing little to no progression. Unbelievable missed chances and a poor goal return compared to other Premier League strikers. Darwin's Liverpool stint could be summed up as chaotic and underwhelming. A chaotic and underwhelming adventure given what was expected of him. So far this season, the Uruguayan has managed just 7 goals and 5 assists in 39 matches, now merely a squad player under Arne Slot, who cannot entrust him with leading the attack as a lone striker. Don't think any of you will disagree with that. I'm not sure if the stats and dates and things are in here are bang on correct. I ain't got time to spend all day fucking doing that. So always check, with official sources and things like that. But yeah, this article really, basically was telling everybody he's fucking garbage. So there you go. That was that one. AS, the Madrid-based Real Madrid paper, if you like, they had an article titled "Salah farewell to the Ballon d'Or, Arnold no cup final," right? Excuse me. They write, and I'm not reading the entire article to you, they write, Salah said goodbye to the Champions League in tears, an emotion that 4 months before his current contract expires generates even more doubts about his future. The Egyptian could have already said goodbye to both Liverpool in Europe and the 2025 Ballon d'Or. They touch on Trent's injury and him missing the final, hence why he's included in the headline as well. And they continue, the Carabao Club could be, along with the Premier League, the first of the 2 titles to be won by the Reds this season. 2 trophies that seem sufficient for Salah to bathe, insufficient. 2 trophies that seem insufficient for Salah to bathe in gold next October in Paris. I do apologise, guys. I'm gonna start that one again. Fucking idiot. Sorry. They continue. The Carabao Cup could be, along with the Premier League, the first of the 2 titles to be won by the Reds this season. 2 trophies that seem insufficient for Salah to bathe in gold next October in Paris. Salah, in a dream season, for many people the best of his career, has said goodbye to the Champions League too soon. What they're saying is, he's out of the Champions League, might never play in the tournament again or whatever. But saying that the tears and everything is Salah, realising that the chances of winning the Ballon d'Or, if you're not on that top European stage, it's gone against him, the Ballon d'Or or whatever, hence the reference to bathing in gold next October in Paris. One thing I will say is, I think if Trent Alexander-Arnold had been crying like that, people would have been banging, and picking on him and saying, hang on, he's just thinking about his fucking self here. You know what I mean? Would you agree with that? I think people would have been, all he's thinking about is his own Ballon d'Or, Trent and that. So, yeah, most certainly getting, but he's not getting any aggravation whatsoever, but not nice to see. But it's obviously up here in his mind as to that Ballon d'Or. So, yeah, the article, Salah and Trent face setbacks, was to do with the Ballon d'Or and Arnold not making the cup final due to injury. Finally, Valencia faced tax fraud and money laundering probe. This wasn't in the papers today. It's been touched on. It has been in the papers in the last week or so. Excuse me. But I thought I'd mention it today. I saw one person mention it yesterday about Valencia, and I just wanted to clear it up in case you hear, people start saying these things. So this came out the other day, wasn't in the papers today. I didn't touch on it at the time, but Valencia are being investigated over possible tax fraud and money laundering. The Portugal Public Prosecutor's Office is currently investigating several transfers between Valencia and Benfica having suspected illegal activity. The complaint highlights questionable financial dealings surrounding the acquisition of Valencia by Peter Lim's Meriton Holdings in December 2014. It focused on the purchase of player rights for Rodrigo and Andre Gomes from Benfica. Both spent the 2014-15 season on loan at Valencia before being bought permanently in June 2015, with Meriton Capital Limited reportedly paying €30 million for the former and $15 million for the latter. However, the complaint claimed Benfica inflated these prices through exaggerated intermediary and third-party fees, leading to Valencia overpaying for the players. So if you hear of Valencia being investigated to do with transfers, don't worry about the Mamadashvili deal, Milli Vanilli as I like to call him, because this is about business between Valencia and Benfica. It's raining. It's raining now. Where's Rennie? Shouldn't whistle. Hurt me throat. So yeah, that's it, guys. That's your lot for this briefing. Well, it's not a briefing. It's a summary of what is and what isn't in the Spanish media today. So I hope you found it enjoyable. Well, I don't know if you found it enjoyable, but interesting. Like I said, I just wanted to mention the Matt and Zubimendi thing because I don't know. Loyalty's rare in football. Loyalty's rare in football. And I can't criticise him for staying loyal to his club as much as, I think, like, I would love to have seen him move to Liverpool, but I wasn't, with other players from other teams, I'd have gone, well, fuck you, you've had your chance. I would, but I think you have to make an exception. And unless you're from Spain a little bit, or if you're really deep into your football and you understand certain, regional things, like I said, there is, similarities with Liverpool in some ways, with the Scouse not English thing and stuff like that. But I think it's really, really massive in Spain, in that region. And he just wanted their blessing. Now, some people say, well, you're not man enough, whatever. I just think it's harsh, to be honest with you. And, I guess, will he leave if he's not, if he doesn't get their blessing this time? I think what made it worse last summer, was the fact that they'd lost them other players. And he felt an even bigger responsibility to them with the European football. Like, well, fucking hell. He was offered, it was said Liverpool offered to triple his wages or something. How many players are not motivated by money and loyalty, And I'm sure if you spun it round and Trent comes out and says, I can't go to Real Madrid because this is my club, you'd all be fucking fawning over him, So anyway, I'm sure he's going to do that, is Trent, at some time. So that's it. That's your lot for this video. Did you enjoy it? We found it a little bit interesting. Sorry for fucking a bit up there. Sometimes I read a bit too fast or whatever. And I'm sorry for coughing as well. All right. So, yeah, that's it. My morning briefings now are on my other YouTube channel, youtube.com/Duncan Oldham. That saves a notification. YouTube only sends out 3 notifications on this channel in a 24-hour period. So I just throw the morning briefing over on that channel now. So if you want to, pop across, subscribe, watch, it'd be appreciated. I do miss you guys. And my morning briefings are very personal. I like to speak to you on that community thing, YNWA and all that. It's not all about signings and speculation. So if you appreciate this video, please do thumbs up the video. If you'd like to buy me a coffee, which helps me daily in the cafe. I just had 3 coffees this morning, but no breakfast or anything. I fucking didn't. If you'd like to, if you do appreciate these videos and you'd like to help me bring them to you, no obligation. There's a love heart under the video. It's called the Super Thanks. If you do that, I'll give you a shout out in tomorrow morning's morning briefing, which is on the other channel. There's also links in the video description if you don't want to use that. Drop me a comment. Is there anything in this video you found of interest? Are you just not interested in anything what's being said over here? I am. Not because I'm here. I just like to have the different angle, like this, for example, on Darwin Nunez. I like to see what other journalists are saying that are not, in the clique of Liverpool journalists. And I like to see the other side. If someone comes in a bar and says, oh, did you hear about them two having a fallout? No, I didn't. No. Yeah, so you speak to one of them, what happened? Oh, yeah, he's a fucking... But you don't just take that one person's... you want to say, oh, what happened? Listen to someone else and form your own opinion, you know what I'm saying? That's what I do anyway. So it won't be possible without you lovely people watching my videos. Even those of you that don't like me, you're still watching. It's engagement. I appreciate it. And yeah, hey guys, I enjoyed this video. I enjoy bringing it to you. I had a bit of a nightmare in the cafe doing it for you, to be honest. Like, all my notes were fucking crashing and losing and stuff. But I think I've got everything that I wanted to talk to you about today. I'm going to watch that Martin Zubimendi in action tonight. But remember what I said, he's not had a good season. And I'm sure, I don't think he's 100%, to be honest with you. So I wouldn't watch that game and go, oh, I'm glad we never signed him, because I think he's going to be a cracking player. And I'm very interested as to where he goes. Once he goes, right, once his future is over, I won't be talking about him anymore. Unless he comes to Liverpool. All right, guys, Thanks for watching. I'll speak to you a bit. Don't forget, live on here at 1 o'clock this afternoon. All right.